Hello, it is Josh the Fun Times Guide, and today my wife Janine and I are going to go through a jar of coins together. It was lent to us by my father-in-law, Janine's dad, and we think it's mostly dimes and quarters, though we did see some pennies and nickels floating around in there as well. We have not gone through this jar yet, and we're hoping to find some silver dimes, silver quarters, maybe some eras and varieties, but who knows what's in there.
We'll go through this jar of coins, and as we do, I'll share 10 types of coins you should be looking for when you're going through a roll or jar of coins. Let's get started.
Your dad has been saving this jar of coins for quite a long time, I think.
He's been saving coins for as long as I was a kid. We used to roll them, and part of the reason I like coins is he had a great uncle that collected coins, and he inherited some of that collection, and then he just emptied his pockets every day. And so we rolled the coins when we were kids, and then we'd look through those, and we'd get to then I met him, and now we get to look through these things and check.
Isn't she something else?
Check for errors and check for like silver and
yeah,
special little coins.
I think that's what we're looking for in this roll, or I should say this jar. It's a big roll. In this jar of coins, looking for pre-1965 dimes and quarters, which would be 90% silver. I do see some pennies floating around in there, so the pre-82 copper cents are going to be high on our target list. And if there's some nickels, I think I see a couple. Any wartime nickels, those made from 1942 through 45, which have a large mint mark or mint letter stamp on the reverse or back side of the nickel, right above the Monticello building. So I see we just got started with this, so let's go ahead and dive in. While she's starting to get this jar going here, I want to show that I do have with us a coin loupe right there. This will help us look for details on the coins, and also our trusty coin scale, which will help us to determine weight differences between the clad dimes and the silver dimes and quarters as well, and which is very helpful in the case of 1965 silver dime and silver quarter errors. So anything in there yet of interest?
In 90s and 80s.
I might dump this out.
In 2001.
Expedite our coin search here. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of coins.
Let's do it a little bit at a time.
See, oh, you okay? I'm sorry. This is a very high risk, high hazard hobby. You know, when you think about this, really. I mean, you could hurt your fingers going through coins. So sorry. Okay. And you are better, right?
I'm better.
Okay. I'll get the first aid kit out here and save the day.
Here I come to save the day. That means that Mighty Mouse is on the way.
I'll do the first aid.
So far, I mean, I'm looking at this pile, and I don't think it stands out. It is mostly clad, if all clad quarters and dimes.
Clad.
Although I do see some pennies in here. Yeah, your eyes were not deceiving you. There are some Zinc era Lincoln cents right here, 2021. So nothing super valuable.
Mostly from the 90s.
Mostly from the 90s. I see some 80s. Ooh,
Yeah, 80s, 90s is all here. There's a 1982 penny, quarters.
82. Now, I will say, 1982 and 83, the U.S. Mint was not producing official mint sets. They were making souvenir sets you could buy at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but they were not making mint sets you could be able to buy mail order, like so many folks have done over the last, more than 75 years since the U.S. Mint began making mint cents, 1947. What do we have? 82. So this is actually not a bad 82 Denver quarter right here. It's better condition. So the reason why these are scarce are coins. Oh, you look excited. What'd you find? What did you find?
I'm very excited.
65. Okay, we're going to revisit this 1965 quarter in a minute and see exactly if it's a clad or a silver quarter. Though I think it's a clad. I'll tell you why in a minute. Quickly, with the 82 and 83 quarters, A, no mint sets. B, in the early 80s, there was a big recession going on, and people really couldn't afford to save just rolls and bags of quarters and other coins. So really, there were very few quarters were saved in those days. So thus, better condition 1982 and 83 quarters are more valuable because they were not saved in huge quantities.
Wow.
This one here that I see that we pulled out, this 83D, I mean, it does have some light wear to it. I'd probably hold it aside.
There's a few that needs to be looked out by you.
Well, we'll hold that aside because you could get a 30 or 40 cent premium for that coin.
Really?
This 65 quarter, now I can tell you off the bat, is a clad quarter.
Because of the color on the side.
Exactly. So if you look closely at a clad quarter, I hope that the camera's picking this up. I don't know if it is or is not, but you'll see an orange or a brown rim
Right.
around the, or not rim, but like a color around the side. That indicates copper in the coin. So if you find a 65 quarter or dime and want to see if it's a silver or a clad, the minute you see any brown or orange on the side, you know right away it's a clad dime or clad quarter. But you never know, right?
Nope.
1978 Lincoln
copper.
cent. Let me see. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. But you know what? You never know. Every 65 quarter or dime I find, I always look at the edge to see if it's a copper nickel or a silver coin. 78 Lincoln cent is a keeper because it's made from copper, and copper pennies are worth about 3 to 4 cents right now, which is not bad.
The 69,
69.
but it's still clad.
Yeah, it's clad. You know, and that's to be expected.
73, that's cute.
It's seen some life, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty well worn. Yeah, I'm looking also for errors. Nothing stands out so far. Here's a 65 quarter that I can tell is clad because the edge is brown.
I hope you relook at all of what I have here, because I'm just
Well,
looking for...
I will. I think
65.
your numismatic peepers are pretty much on track, if you ask me.
I'm not going to see an extra foot or bush or bow tie.
Oh, the extra bow tie error.
I don't know. I'm joking.
Double die. 69 Denver Lincoln cent, a keeper because it's made from copper.
68.
68. That's an oldie, but not a goldie, unfortunately. It's clad. Don't you love our sound effects? Yeah, I'm going through here. Nothing really stands out. Looking for any Minnesota quarters, which could be double dies in the back, because you were looking for the extra tree just to the right of the Minnesota state outline.
Well, there's a whole
I
bunch
don't
of things
see
here.
Minnesota quarters at all. I'm looking for the Wisconsin quarter, Denver, because it will have the extra leaf high or extra leaf low variety.
So he's going to have to relook through all of the quarters.
I don't think so. She's really adept numismatically, and in every other fashion too, if I may say.
Not really. I don't
Well,
see everything Georgia Peach. Haha.
speaking of Georgia quarters,
Georgia Peach.
but not a keeper. And you know, this is kind of what I expect. Because, your dad, like you, you're both very numismatically adept people, and you kind of know what you're looking at. And her dad can tell a silver quarter just by the way it feels in his hand. And he did tell us
Clinks in his pocket.
exactly, because silver quarters, silver dimes do have more of a ring when they hit a hard surface versus a clad quarter or dime, which has more of a click sound, click click. So
We should just go around clinking.
dropping our coins and seeing which ones make
Did
sound.
that have a ring?
Let me see. 1970. Okay, so it's interesting you picked out a 77 quarter. This is a Philadelphia, not a Denver, but there is a known 1977D quarter error in which a very small number, were struck with a 40% silver planchet because in 1975 and 76, the U.S. Mint was using 40% silver planchets to make bicentennial quarters for collectors with the S Mint mark. And somehow, I don't have any idea how this happened, but there are a few known 1977D quarters made from 40% silver planchets. Now, in that case, if I found a D Mint mark 77 that didn't seem to have a very brown or copper colored edge to it, but like a gray edge, I would weigh it to see if it weighed to the specs of a 40% silver quarter. But in this case, I can tell right away it's copper clad, and it's also a Philadelphia no mint mark stripe, not the D mint mark stripe that you'd be looking for in that case. And yep, a lot of clad. But, some good news for your dad if you can cash this in and add a few bucks to his account there, right? A lot of folks ask me about these kind of dark colored coins. Like right here, this is a dark colored quarter. And they ask, is it missing a nickel layer on the outside? Some cases they are, but I can tell off the bat this is not, because it actually, you can see some of the nickel layer on the exterior or the outside of the coin, which would indicate right away this is just a discolored quarter. Postment damage is not a missing clad error.
1982.
82, what, quarter?
Oh, I lost it.
Uh-oh. 82
Here it
quarter? Cool beans. Let's see what this
There's
is.
a few of them.
That's not bad. You know what? I'd hold it aside because, ooh, the reverse is really nice. You probably can't see the details in this one, but you can see some feather detail on the breast of the eagle.
There's a whole
I would hold
bunch.
that aside.
1977.
Ooh, let's see if it's a copper nickel clad. It's also Philadelphia. So this would not be a candidate for the 40% silver error, but 25 cents is 25 cents. The couple who look through coins together stays together. Don't you ever forget that.
Is that it?
That's it. That's the saying. Or so I heard growing up anyway.
That's,
I'm sure there are variants
I'm
of that.
sure that's
old
what you
maxim. Let's see here.
take that.
Tell you what, before I go through any let's
1983.
hold aside the ones we've gone through. 83. Ooh, that's a nice one too.
Hold a nice.
This is a really nice 83 Denver quarter. You know what? The premium on that's not that much, but I know dealers who'd pay more than just 25 cents for this. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it aside. Put it with the copper penny and 82, 83 quarter pile.
Okay.
And we'll start going through some more coins. 1971 dime.
What years did the state quarter campaign go?
Good question. They started in 1999, went through 2008, and 2009 was the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarters. And then from 2010 to 2021, there were the National Parks or America the Beautiful quarters.
Okay.
And then starting in 2022 is the American Women Quarters program.
Cool.
And each of those campaigns, I can tell you, they have
77.
been very popular with collectors of all different echelons and levels of collecting. This is the Philadelphia, so that's a spend-worthy one. 1983. This is a neat-looking 83 quarter that has an antiquing look to it. It's just dirt and debris, but it is kind of cool looking, isn't it? It has like an antique look to it.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah. You know what? I'll hold it aside because it looks so novel, but it's not worth more than face value because it's worn and B, it's discolored, but it looks kind of cool. And I'm not one of these guys who every coin has to be worth $1 million to save it. Sometimes I save coins because they might look neat or look kind of novel. And I'm not above saving things that might even have postman damage, but just look different. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to your dad and see if he wants to keep it. But yeah, looking through some more coins here, and nothing is standing out. I don't see any candidates for like the Minnesota P quarter double die from 2005. I don't see any 2004 D
What is
Wisconsin
this
quarters.
That looks cool.
This is a 2008 New Mexico state quarter.
That's cool.
There, it's got the state emblem in the back there.
That's cool.
So, but we can spend it, or I guess you could say your dad can spend it. You can suggest ways you can spend it. Like, I don't know. 1967 quarter.
Put them back into circulation.
Yes.
Appreciation
Exactly.
of the money.
Exactly.
Look at all these.
We're about halfway through this jar already, and I'm not finding anything of particular note. I mean, a couple of copper pennies, some 65 quarters that we know off the bat are copper nickel clad, but if we did not see any brown or orange edge, would be worth checking out with a scale. So these are all coins he can spend safely.
Well, no,
These are
not
keepers.
Necessarily. There's
I thought you said that you went through these already.
but there's some 82s before I knew about
Oh, 82s. Okay, well, we'll later on after this video, we'll scan through these again and hold out the 82s and 83s, the quarters, just so that your dad has a chance to maybe sell them for a few cents more than their face value. Well, hey, listen, every penny counts, But these I know can be safely put back in circulation. Nothing here stands out for errors, or varieties, or silver, or copper for that matter. So we'll go ahead and put those there. These 65 are copper nickel clad, so these can be spent. That's an 82. That's just discolored. That's an 82. So we have a few keepers so far. So what we'll do is we'll rescan these again after the video for 82s and 83 quarters, and then roll the rest. Your dad can cash them in when he's ready to.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
And
that.
thank you.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank us.
Thank you. Thank you.
1960.
And thank you for watching.
I
But we're
thought-
not done yet.
I thought 1969 was part silver.
No.
Did I
No, it's not impossible. There's a Mint error out there in which a silver quarter might have been stamped with a 69 die, but as of this taping, there have been no known such errors like that. This is a 1971. Oh, I saw this one earlier. It's a 1971 dime. It looks A, really, really worn, and B, really, really dark and discolored, but it's just discoloration. It's not worth keeping, so put it in your deck and spend pile. And look at that, the jar's already empty, so we're getting through this really, really quickly now. Let's see here. No. Uh-oh. What'd you find?
Threw a 1982 in there.
Wisconsin, with 2040 Wisconsin quarter, but there's no extra leaf on it, so it is a spend safe coin.
Spin save.
Yes, that's my own word I just coined. Get it? Pun. Spend safe. Spend safe. Ooh, here's a nice 82D. Oh, but I have a lot of people who ask me questions about the circular marks on quarters, which you might be able to see here in the obverse of this 82 quarter. But the circular striations on this, just caused by a coin counting machine or vending machine. It's actually postman damage. And because of the damage, it is an 82 in nice condition. It might garner a few cents premium, but the lines on it would actually be damaged. I don't know if your dad could get extra money for that, but I'll pull it aside in case he can. Ooh, here's a 65 quarter that looks kind of funky.
Oh, you're right.
But I think I see on the edge, it's copper nickel clad.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll weigh it. 5.5 grams. So it checks out as a copper nickel clad quarter, which
How
weighs
much
about
is it?
5.67 grams.
Here, try that one.
65. Well, giveaway, it does have a copper nickel clad edge to it, but we'll wait and see. 5.6 grams. So, again, spend safe. That's the word of the day, folks. Spend safe.
1967.
1967. Yeah, I don't know of any silver quarter errors
I
from
don't
that
see any
period.
earlier than 1965, ironically.
Yeah, well, listen, if we did, that would be awesome. But
You think
unfortunately,
people are just cashing it in for
oh,
summer
absolutely,
value?
yes.
That's probably it then.
All right, here's another coin worth looking for. Now, this one's copper nickel clad, 1974 D quarter. Some of them have been known, like the 77 D quarter, to have been struck on a 40% silver planchet.
Yeah.
And again, you have to weigh it to see if you have one or not. And if you don't see, like in this case, I see the
74?
74D Denver. This has the copper nickel clad edge, so we know off the bat it's a spend safe coin.
Spin safe.
But I do look for the 74Ds and 77Ds. Uh-oh. Did we drop the $1 million coin here? Let's see. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I can already tell you.
Well, hey, you know what? This was a 1968 D penny. Yeah, it's worth about 3 cents in copper value.
Really?
So yeah, that's a keeper.
There, that was just on the
That's a
foot.
keeper in our
Look
book.
at this, a coin
Whoa.
machine. Look how much damage. it's
Yeah,
done.
okay. I'm glad you found this because this is a great chance to show people who ask about their kind of weird looking coins that have like missing a lot of the design details and they think it's a mint error. There are mint errors in which most of the design is missing from the coin, not because of it being off center, but because it wasn't struck correctly. Die trials, which have a very soft appearance of the design. But in this case, you can see, and you pointed out right away, and it has sanding marks all over it. So this was
Right.
clearly a post-mint damaged coin here. I even see a swivel in the middle. Like you can tell it was definitely damaged by probably a block sander or something like that. So
Why would someone do that?
it's worth a quarter, but no more than that.
Kept its value.
Yeah, exactly.
Value.
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 I can't say the correct word.
That's okay. We're coining words today here. I'm using spend safe. We've got
Value.
value over here.
Value.
Delaware quarter looking for the spinning horse die break. Now this one does not have it, but on some 1999 Delaware quarters, you'll see a die break, or basically a fracture in the die that struck the coin, created a line going from the horse's mouth through the word Caesar Rodney to the rim. And that's a very popular variety called a spitting horse, worth about $10. But this horse has kept its saliva in its mouth, so this is a spend-safe quarter.
Here,
I
look
love
how,
that word.
look at that damage.
Whoa, a lot of pitting on this one.
Pit.
2013 Mount Rushmore. Yeah, it's like it was found in a parking lot. Like you can see asphalt marks in the
This
coin.
one actually has someone scraped it off.
Man, look at all these belt-sanded coins that are coming up here. Probably can't, I don't know if you can see the detail or not here, but that quarter has a lot of sanding marks on it. And it's also a coin worth spending. So, and you know, guys, this is kind of typical of a coin jar searching session. Mostly going to be clad coins, coins not worth more than face value or worth very little above face value. And that's okay, because that's what most of the circulation holds. And that's what makes coin searching so much fun, is looking for those little diamonds in the rough, those rare varieties and errors and silver coins and copper pennies and things that really keep this hobby exciting for us those of us who look through jars and rolls and pocket chains and stuff. Yeah, honey, what?
I was just wondering if anybody had found any coins either in pocket change or if it was saved in just a coin jar.
Yes.
Do any of you save money, pocket change in a coin jar, and just fill up a jar? And then what do you do with it? Have you tried to go to
Great question.
to put it in rolls? Do you do a coin star? Like, what do you do with your coins when you save them up? Or do you know someone that does that you really want to try? Maybe you could go and let us know what you find in those jars.
Yeah, drop us a line in the comments.
I'd love to see.
Like Janine says.
Or send a picture and
Send
Josh
us pictures. On the funtimesguide.com, we have all kinds of comment forms where you can actually upload pictures and ask questions.
Right.
And I will always do my best to help out anybody.
We can include the link in the bottom.
Exactly.
For you
Exactly.
to know where to comment and ask Josh what it might be, if it's damage or if it's a spinning horse or 1982 worth keeping.
I want to find a spinning horse. Well, maybe not look at it face to face, but.
You're so silly. Are we done?
My dear, I'm afraid we're done. So we went through all these coins. As mentioned, nary a silver coin to be found. We did find a few 82 and 83 quarters. We did find some pre-1982 pennies, which are worth copper value. No errors, no varieties to speak of.
You check
that
that
65 quarter weighs bum. Oops, that's the tear weight. Let's try it again. All right. So what happened was the quarter was placed on the scale before I turned it on, so it actually measures part of the tear. Let's go ahead and put this back on here and see. 5.5 grams. So it is a copper nickel clad quarter. I did find earlier that 2004 Wisconsin quarter, and it was not an extra leaf variety. And I really didn't even find any 05P Minnesota quarters looking through this that I could search for double dies.
I didn't
see one, but I think I found one or two. But I could tell off the bat they were not errors. I cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Is that it? Guys, that's it. We happen to find a lot of spending money for your dad. That's what we found in this jar of coins. There's a lot of spending money.
And we're gonna roll him. And we'll bring you more jars.
Oh yeah.
This is a habit my dad's had for years, and this might be from the last couple of years, but there's ones that he has from years ago. So
there aren't many promises I can make in life that I feel confident making, but one I can make to everybody watching this is we will definitely have more rolls and jars to go through. So please be sure to subscribe to our channel, look for those videos. If you like our videos, comment, share, tell us what you think about these videos down below. Let us know if you found any coins that you think are worth saving. And we'll definitely, like I said, we'll help you out. We have the funtimesguide.com where we have all kinds of coin value articles. And this was a lot of fun.
it was, and also if you are into sensory, I'm an OTA. If you
Occupational therapy assistant.
yes,
Annotation there for you.
sensory input and tactile sensory. This is a real sensory experience.
Oh yes.
Holding coins in your hand.
Kind of like being
and
Scrooge
listening.
McDuck, diving into the vault he had, all those coins. I think they're all gold coins. I always wanted to do it when I was a kid. Dive into a vault of coins.
I just bought a giant room full of gold coins, and I'm going to dive into it like Scrooge McDuck. Ah! It's not a liquid! It's a great many pieces of solid matter that form a hard floor-like surface! Ah!
Let's dive into a towel of coins.
No. No.
Everybody, thank you for your time and patience. And I think with this we can bid this jar of coins adieu.
Well, that's about what we expected in a jar of modern pocket change. We ended up, after the video was over, we went through the quarters again. We did find 3 more 1982 and 2 more 83 quarters for a combined total of about a dozen 82 P&D and 83 P&D quarters. They were all circulated. Most were in the grade range of fine to high and very fine. There were a few XF to AU pieces, so lightly circulated coins. And again, there are coin dealers who will pay a very small premium for lightly worn 82 and 83 dated quarters. So we held them aside for Janine's dad. He can, if he wants to take the time to try to sell them, he can. If not, he can spend them, but the option is his. We also found 5 total pre-1982 copper Lincoln Memorial cents. Again, worth about 3 cents a pop. Not anything great value-wise, but we did tell Janine's dad that we found them. He has them, and if he wants to try to sell them, he can. If not, so be it. But I think the most important thing is that Janine and I had a great time going through that jar of coins together. We hope to go through another roll or jar again soon. We really enjoy, as spouses, doing this together. It's a neat hobby. You can make some cool finds if you're lucky and persistent, and we will definitely be at it again. So for now, this is Josh at the Fun Times Guide. Again, thanking you for your time. If you like what we're doing here, let us know down in the comments below, please. Let us know what you're finding in your change jars and coin rolls and pocket change. We want to know what you're finding out there. And like our video, comment, subscribe, share. We appreciate everything you do, all your support, and we'll catch you again. Till next time, this is Josh at the Fun Times Guide.